Hi everybody, we're doing long division, standard algorithm. We're going to do the question 763 divided by 3. There will be a remainder, which means if I split 763 into 3 groups, I can get 3 groups, but I'm gonna have something left over that's too small to split up, like a 1 or a 2. We're going to use these 4 steps: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And I remember it as DMSB, does McDonald's sell burgers? This 3 is the number we're dividing by. And when we're dividing, we're seeing how many times can 3 go into a number. And it's very, very helpful for me to write out the multiples of 3, because when we're dividing, we can see how many times 3 can go into something if we have these written out. All right, so let's go ahead and start. We're using this digit first, and we'll go left to right. We're gonna do divide. 7 divided by 3, or how many times can 3 go into 7 without going over? So we can look here, 1, 2, this is going over. We've gone past 7, so it's just 2 times. So 3 can go into 7 2 times. Now, taking the last thing we wrote, we're gonna move on to the next step. When you go on to a next step, most of the time, at least for these 3, you're going to use the thing that you just wrote, and that's your jumping off point. So we're gonna take that 2, and we're gonna multiply. And we're multiplying it with the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Now we're going to subtract. So it's the last thing we wrote is getting subtracted from the thing above it. 7 minus 6 is 1. The next step is to bring down. So the arrow here will kind of help show you, but you're bringing down the next digit, which is the 6. Okay, so now we have a 16 right here to work with, and we're gonna start over and divide again. So we're going to do 16 divided by 3, or how many times can 3 go into 16 before it goes over? So take a look at this, and I want you to think about how many times you could skip count 3s before you go past 16. And no, we don't hit 16, but we get close to it. So we got to here. This one is too far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 can go into 16 5 times without going over. Put the 5 up here. Now we're gonna multiply the same thing we just wrote back with that 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. The next step is to subtract. We're going to do 16 minus 15, which is 1. Now we're gonna bring down the next and last digit, which is the 3. So bring it down here, and we have a 13 to work with. Come all the way back here to divide one more time. So now we're doing 13 divided by 3, or how many times can you skip count your 3 before you go over? So take a look at that and think about it. This would be too far, so we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 3 can go into 13 4 times. Multiply it back. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract. 13 minus 12 is 1. There is nothing left to bring down. I can't split 1 up into 3 unless I want to use fractions. This number is too small to work with, so it is left over. Remainder 1. Here's what that means. Let's say I had 763 sparkling waters, let's say, because I've got a sparkling water here. Let's say I wanted to divide these sparkling waters into 3 groups. I could do that, and I would end up with 254, 254, and 254, but then I would have 1 left over that I can't do anything with, so it's just a remainder. Well, I guess I could drink it. So 763 does not divide equally into 3 groups. It also means that if you multiplied 3 times 254, you would get 762. And then you'd add that 1 back in if you wanted to get up to 763. So thank you for watching. I hope this is helpful for you. And if you want to keep practicing, you can practice all 36 of these. on the playlist. And whether you have these worksheets from the description or you're using a whiteboard or notebook paper, you can still follow along. And long division is something that's super tricky until it's not. If you keep practicing, it'll click, and then it'll get really easy the more that you practice.